Welcome to our new Retail Razor Show, Blade to Greatness. Our new standalone Retail Razor Show, where we hear from a retail industry leader who shares their sharp insights and cuts of wisdom on how to excel in this dynamic and competitive field. In this series, we learn about the essential must-have skills and qualities that every retail executive needs to lead their teams and their business to success.
Whether we're talking about HQ or stores, we'll uncover valuable tips and advice that every retail leader can apply to their own retail career path, raising your blade to greatness.
I'm your host, Ricardo Belmar.
And I'm your co-host, Casey Golden.
We'll speak with Jeffrey P McNulty, founder and CEO of New Retail Ethos, creator of The Ultimate Retail Course, and author of The Ultimate Retail Manual. We'll learn from his 30 years of hands-on experience as an executive leader for the Home Depot, Lowe's, Barnes & Noble, PetSmart, Shopko, Toys R Us, Publix, and Festival Foods, plus 18 years of experience as a retail research analyst, having conducted over 1,000 consultations with clients on Wall Street, hedge fund managers, equity investment partners, retailers, and entrepreneurs in the retail sector. Jeffrey has a myriad of experience, knowledge, and wisdom when it comes to retail leadership.
And today, he's here to share with us one of the most important characteristics every retail leader needs to master, and that is the paramount importance of providing employee autonomy. Let's listen to what he has to share with us.
Welcome, Jeffrey.
Thank you, Casey and Ricardo, for having me on the Retail Razor Show. It's an honor, and I look forward to coming back in the future. That's a great question, Ricardo. Employee autonomy is very, very near and dear to my heart. In my best-selling book, The Ultimate Retail Manual, and in my top-selling online course, The Ultimate Retail Course, I share 6 anchors on how retailers and businesses can create an inclusive, engaging, and rewarding culture for their employees, customers, leaders, and vendors. The 4th anchor of the 6 is the extent to which employee autonomy is allowed in making decisions, developing innovative ideas, and enabling personal expression within your organization. Autonomy in the retail sector at any leadership level is having the freedom of choice in making decisions with confidence from your superiors to incur mistakes. Autonomy in the retail sector is generally considered an unacceptable practice because of the deluge of regimented corporate structure and accountability placed upon the stores. This outdated temperament severely inhibits each store leader's ability to positively influence their environment and fully express employees' creativity and innovative ideas. If you study the top technology organizations, you will find a very successful blueprint being implemented. There's no harm in cherry picking from other companies or sectors with an effective operating strategy. One of the most potent attributes the technology companies employs their understanding of autonomy's positive impact on their organization. They encourage autonomous behavior while rewarding their teams for exemplary results. If you read their press releases, they openly admit that many of their top revolutionary ideas come from groups of skilled associates who have full autonomy to achieve their goals. Here are some prime examples of massive innovative ideas that came to fruition by organizations that actively support embraced employee autonomy. And when I thought about these, I thought, wow, I never knew these came from autonomous behaviors. Google developed Gmail from this. Facebook developed the like button. And this one really was interesting. Lockheed Martin created the SR-71 Blackbird and F-22 Raptor from employees having autonomous behavior. And then, of course, one of the ones I'm most proud of is I was proud to be responsible for bringing Gorilla Glue to the Home Depot in 2002. And this was because I was afforded the opportunity of autonomy from my superiors. So I called up my president at the time for the Midwest division. His name was Bill Patterson. And I explained to him that I wanted to create a pilot program at my store in Green Bay, Wisconsin, for 4 Gorilla Glue SKUs, and presenting consumer feedback to him, revenue numbers, SKU penetration, metrics, and gross margin statistics to the entire Midwest divisional merchant teams. And they were extremely impressed and decided to roll out these SKUs to the entire Midwest division and ultimately the entire company. So as an added bonus of being as for listeners of the Retail Razor podcast, I'm offering a $100 off discount to all listeners for the Ultimate Retail Course. All you have to do is go to theultimateretailcourse.com and enter in the code RetailRockstar100 off. And for any of my consulting services at New Retail Ethos, just go to newretailethos.com.
Well, thank you for that amazing offer for our listeners, Jeffrey. And also, let me also thank you for having brought Gorilla Glue Gorilla Glue into the Home Depot because I, for one, am a major customer of that product.
I don't think anybody gets that right.
I know, right? Exactly. It's a tongue twister. But that's a fantastic example. Honestly, that is a great example of autonomy. I love all those examples. I mean, so many things can come by just listening for a key creative idea.
Yeah, I think that's really the another actuator that you can really motivate people with. See, a lot of times what's happening is leaders of businesses and retailers are trying to motivate, again, extrinsically, increase pay, more time off, more perks. And don't get me wrong, employees love that. But when you go to work every day, when you get out of bed in the morning and you choose to go to work for a retailer or a business, that's a conscious choice you're making. And I used to say to myself when I was driving to work every day to work, I'd say, Jeff, who are you going to impact today? And then driving home from work, I used to say, Jeff, who did you positively impact today? And I would go through the list of people, and it would always make me feel good to know that I had impact on people. But you got to create that environment where people want to come to work. And people think, again, it's always the perks, but it's not always the perks. If you look at the technology companies, they're removing the foosball tables and the free lunches and all that, because that's great, but people get used to that. They get used to all those extra perks. And it doesn't have the same motivational impact because it doesn't come from inside. It doesn't tap into what I like to call heart energy. I was listening to Neil Diamond, his song, Tap Into Your Heart Light. And I play that once every morning, believe it or not, when I'm getting ready in the morning. I put it on YouTube. And I play that because I want to make sure I'm tapping into my heart light every day. And that's really, it's not really that hard to do, but you got to really care about people. We keep talking about this. This is a repetitive pattern. You got to care about people. You got to promote the right leaders who care about people. And you got to really want to see people succeed. I worked with a lot of leaders that if they were happy when they were succeeding, but if anybody else was succeeding, they were jealous or they were envious. And, I'd pull them aside and say, listen, we're all in this together. We're all connected as human beings around the world. We're all connected. We're all part of the same species, right? And I want to see everybody doing well. And the expression that I use is that we live in a wealthy, abundant, and prosperous universe where there's enough for everyone to go around. But you got to have leaders that genuinely care about this. And so one of the things I enjoyed the most about being a leader was creating future leaders. I had a vice president come up to me one time at a walk at Home Depot, and he would say, what's your number one thing that you're responsible for? And everybody started saying customer service. I'm like, no, it's developing future leaders. Because if you develop future leaders, that's going to take care of itself. Now, if you're developing future leaders and you're not a good leader, then that's a different story. Because then, I worked in a lot of stores and a lot of districts where there was a lot of mini-me's running around. From Austin Powers, a lot of mini-me's that were running around, and they would only hire type A personalities. And I'm like, have you ever been in a store or a district with all type A personalities? It's chaos. It's literally chaos personified. And so I made sure that when I interviewed people, I interviewed over 6,000 people throughout my career. I looked at the numbers and went back, and I didn't count up every single one, but that's about a rough estimate. And I hired A, B, C, and D personalities because our customers are going to be A, B, C, and D personalities. And you have to learn I'd have introverted people that were worried about getting promoted because they weren't extroverted or rah-rah. And I'd be like, listen, you can do it in your own way. Just make sure you're communicating in a way that people are resonating with. And I would teach them that, when you're dealing with shy or quiet or introverted people, you have to alter the delivery of your message, okay? Not the message itself, the delivery of your message. So maybe you watch your body language, maybe you watch your tone, maybe you stand back a little bit, you don't stand so rigid, And so you use your body language to communicate that because they say body language is 70% of the communication anyway, right? So, that was what I enjoyed the most was developing future leaders. And that vice president pulled me aside after the walk and said, you know what, Jeff, that's a perfect answer. That's a perfect answer because I never thought of it from that. Because most people take care of the customer, take care of the employee. Well, great leaders, if you're promoting the right leaders and developing the right leaders, they're going to do that automatically. Again, I would get the stores and districts I was responsible for on autopilot when it came to the basics, customer service, inclusion, autonomy, entrepreneurship, and then all the other things naturally fell into place.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jeffrey, and sharing actionable insights that retailers can do to improve the ownership. Thank you.
My pleasure.
If you've enjoyed our show, please consider giving us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Good Pods. Remember to smash that subscribe button in your favorite podcast player and tune in on YouTube so you don't miss a minute. I'm your co-host, Casey Golden.
Please share your feedback with us on Twitter at KCCGolden, Ricardo_Belmar, and at Retail Razor, or find us on LinkedIn, Threads, and Instagram. For the best highlights from each episode shipped straight to your inbox, subscribe to our Substack newsletter for full episode transcripts and bonus content. I'm your host, Ricardo Belmar.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, keep cutting through the clutter and stay sharp. This is the Retail Razor Blade to Greatness.